Bag alert, folks. You know what? I thought this episode was going to be relatively short, but it's not. It's going to be another banger. It's going to be another loaded episode, okay? We have so much to talk about. We have so much to talk about. Oh my God. From the moment I woke up until I finished doing the talking points for this episode, it has been nothing but a whirlwind of news and bag alert and more news and bag alerts and more news and bag alerts. And I told you this. As your Bagrodomus, I told you that there was a good chance that there was going to be another bag alert before this week ended. And guess what happened? It happened. It happened. See, this is exactly why you have to listen to the greatest football podcast in the world. Because why? We said this a few days in advance, and it happened. It did happen. But you know what? Let's just get into the topics. Okay. So here we go. AJ Terrell, okay, gets paid. Okay. Bo Nix and Gardner Minshew have been named starters for their respective teams, right? Linval Joseph signs with the Cowboys. I know, weird, right? Also, Bagrodomus predictions for both corners and receivers, since there's a lot of things that are swirling right now, as well as the breaking news that literally just happened before I hit this record button. JAHAN DOTSON is going to the Eagles. Yeah. Yep, to all my Commanders fans, you're probably pulling over on 95 right now. You're probably hitting your steering wheel, crying, wondering what in the world is going on with the Commanders. I don't know, but guess what? I have a prediction for that because why? I am your Bagrodomus, okay? As well as we have to talk about the Steelers and Lions preview. Yes, we do have to talk about it because it is a team that everybody has been talking about lately, okay? We just got to talk about it, as well as responding and reacting to what Brian Flores has finally said about the whole Tua situation. All of this and more, okay? I know this is a long intro, but who cares about it? Because guess what? This is going to be a long episode, so who cares anyway? I am your host, your Bagrodomus, your chief, okay? Two-time chief bag alert meteorologist. That's right, me, okay? As well as the GM who still isn't on the team right now, but he is able to predict things and they come to pass. Just like how I said that there's going to be another bag alert. Just like I'm saying right now that Brandon Ayuk is either going to get paid by the 49ers or traded by or before the Chiefs and Ravens game. You heard it here first on the 26th episode of the Football Junkies podcast. I'm your host, Kale, who currently, as I'm going to say it again, is not on a team right now, but I'm looking at interviews. I don't know if I should go to the AFC North, AFC West, or the AFC South. I like the South. But guess what? Forget all of that because you know what? It's time. It's time. It is time. It is time. It is time. To do what, folks? Lock in. All right, folks, let's just get into everything, okay? So, corner for the Falcons, AJ Terrell, has inked a 4-year, $81 million deal, okay? $65.8 million in total guarantees, and he's making $20.2 million a year, okay? Now, when you look at his stats, right, his stats for last season, okay? 11 pass deflections, 4 tackle for losses, and 34 tackles, right? So, all in all, pretty good stats. Of course, he didn't, his interception numbers wasn't there, but as far as everything else, it was definitely there. So all in all, great deal. Now, when we look at the total quarterback guarantees, as far as like the top 4, highest ones, we have to look at Denzel Ward with $71.25 million, Marlon Humphrey, 67.3. AJ Terrell just got there, 65.8. And Tyson Campbell, 53.4. Now, when you look at it, AJ Terrell is definitely one of those corners that, is definitely a playmaker. This is a playmaker. This is someone that, he can change the game. That's who AJ Terrell is. You're talking about someone who is going to go mano a mano with the number one receiver on the offense. That is who he is, and that is what he's been since coming into the league. Now, as his career progressed, he has gotten, better when it comes to his coverage, better when it comes to just being, somewhat of a thorn in a lot of receiver size. And he's definitely, one of those corners that a lot of people talk about and give high praises to and give their flowers to. So all in all, I think it was a great situation. And, the Falcons have definitely done a lot of things, a lot of significant moves in this offseason alone, from getting Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix to, getting Justin Simmons, Judon, and now paying AJ Terrell. So, I mean, all in all, a great situation, as well as getting Raheem Morris as well and making him the head coach as well. So, this Falcons team, looks promising, looks very promising. I could probably make a strong case that in recent years, this is probably going to be the second best Falcons team that we've probably seen lately, and that's. I mean, they won't be as close as the Super Bowl team, the ones that choked. I'm sorry, Falcons fans. I just had to do it. I just had to put that in there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know you probably clicked off of the episode already. I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you for listening. But this is a really good team. This is a really good team. I think they are definitely going to be competitive with the Buccaneers on who was going to win the division. I definitely believe that they could probably sneak into the wild card. I would not be surprised. And I don't think the Falcons are done. I think the Falcons are still going to try to, patch up any other holes that they have on both sides of the ball and, do whatever they need to do to be competitive, because they are in a situation where they are tired of being the doormat, not only in their division, but in the league, right? A lot of times, when a team has to go up against the Falcons, you're thinking, oh, man, we don't got to worry about the Falcons, man. We about to go to Magic City, get some wings and whatnot, about to have a good time, about to go here, there, everywhere, probably going to see the Migos, see T.I., or, whomever, you know what I mean? All those different types of things, right? But now, you do have to worry about them. That defense, that's a potent defense right there. That offense is going to put up some numbers. I don't care what anyone says. You guys can crap on Kirk Cousins as much as you want, but the fact of the matter is, Kirk Cousins is a good situational quarterback. That's what he is. He is someone who he is going to do whatever he needs to do in order to win. That is who he is. He's not someone that's going to be flashy when it comes to his stats or, his style of play and whatnot, but he is someone who is just going to get the job done, put the ball in the playmaker's hands, and win the game. That is who Kirk Cousins is, and that is why the Falcons, gave him the deal that they gave him. So, all in all, I feel like it's a great situation all around, honestly. And then not to mention, if the Falcons would have let AJ Terrell walk, that definitely would have put a massive hole on that team. So, you just had to make sure, and you had to lock him up and make sure that everything was good. Now, I can say this. I definitely had a hunch. And I'm not saying this because I have sources or anything, but I definitely felt like there was something that was going to happen with the Falcons lately, because they restructured. Who was it? Jake Matthews, one of their offensive linemen that just got a mega deal. They just restructured his deal in order to create some cap space. So that let me know that either one or two things were going to happen. Either they were going to pay Judon or AJ Terrell, or they were going to go and try to make a move for another big time player and patch up the team as best as possible. That, and lo and behold, they paid AJ Terrell. So all in all, great signing. Great move for the Falcons. Rooting for the Falcons. And let's just see what happens with them. Now, moving on to the other. Well, I mean, it's important, but not as important. And I'll explain why shortly. So, Sean Payton, coach for the Broncos, has decided to make Bo Nix the starting quarterback for Week 1. Now, when we look at this, Bo Nix, for whatever whatever the reason is, was definitely slept on by a lot of prospects and by a lot of people, and definitely not clamped down, but definitely looked down on his assets and what he brings to a team. I think, me personally, I feel like his skill set reminds me of a Drew Brees, a more athletic Drew Brees, who's able to run out of the pocket, who's able to extend the play, who has the big arm, who has the maturity and whatnot, all those different types of things. It looks like Drew Brees 2.0. That's what it really looks like. That's the vibe that I'm getting from Bo Nix. And for all the flack that Sean Payton got with the whole Russell Wilson situation, I could definitely say he's done a lot of turnaround in this offseason alone. When you really look at it, he got Bo Nix. He was able to keep Cortland Sutton. Tim Patrick looks healthy and he looks like he's being productive. They re-signed Quinn Miners. They've done a few little things to the offensive line to make it a little bit better. All in all, that offense does look like they're going to be in a good direction. It's just the defense that I think that's going to give them the problems, because although you do have PS2, you don't have any pass rushers, any good pass rushers. You don't have any good, defensive line depth. Your linebackers, I mean, they're okay, but they could be better. So it's like, and then not to mention you lost Justin Simmons. So the only real focal piece that you have on that team is PS2 for the defense. And so, maybe they may try to, pick somebody up off of waivers once cut down day happens. I don't know. But, all in all, I think they are in a good direction. Now, when we look at the Raiders, I think the Raiders situation is a little bit more unique than the Broncos, because with Gardner Minshew being the, being named the starting quarterback, I do feel like this does, hit the, well, not hit, but I think this initiates the ticking time bomb of Davante Adams. And the reason why I say that is because Davante Adams wants to win, right? And, since the whole crappy, shitty situation, with the whole Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams and the Packers situation, I think he does realize that he did make a wrong, he definitely made the wrong decision in leaving the Packers. And granted, I understand, from his perspective, he's thinking, okay, Jordan Love really hasn't played. I don't have any chemistry with him. I don't know if this team is going to regress or continue to get better. So I just need to find a way out. And granted, at that time, Derek Carr was still with the Raiders, and there wasn't no indication that that Derek Carr was going to get let go of, but ultimately he did. And Davante Adams is now stuck in a crappy situation with a Raiders team that's not going to really go anywhere. That at best is going to compete for a top 5 draft pick. That's just what it is. I'm calling it the way that I see it here, folks. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. I'm not trying to do anything, those different types of things. Gardner Minshew is going to win you games, yes. But to say that he is going to win you 8, 9, 10 games, especially in a division where you have Patrick Mahomes, you now have Bo Nix, and you have Justin Herbert, right? That's a pretty competitive division. And, the Chargers are looking pretty good. They are. And, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. So, again, was this probably the best situation? I don't know. But, only time will tell. Maybe Gardner Minshew will prove us wrong. Maybe. I don't know. But all in all, I just don't like it. I just don't. I think Davante Adams is going to want out. I think he's definitely going to want to be traded. And I think he's definitely gonna garner a lot of attention from a lot of teams. I would not be This is my prediction, because I'm gonna be doing a lot of predictions. Okay, we are going to call this episode Bagrocies. Yes, Bagrocies. Bag alerts and conspiracy theories. mixed into one. See, this is exactly why this is the greatest football podcast you can possibly listen to, man. Come on, I don't care what anyone says. Now, when we look at this, when you look at it from from the outside looking in, the Raiders have lost a lot. Okay, especially on that offense, they lost Josh Jacobs due to free agency. You lost Derek Carr for obvious dumb reasons. All you have is Brock Bowers and Devontae Adams. That's all you really have. Then you let go of Hunter Renfrow, so it's like, what exactly do you have to show for, right? And it's definitely a difficult situation for Devontae Adams because one, he's not getting any younger. He wants to win. He wants to experience what winning is, and he knows that this is probably going to be the only opportunity that he's probably going to have to possibly go to another situation, a better situation that could probably be more competitive and that you could possibly win. That's just what it is at the end of the day. Now, on to the other news. So, defensive tackle, well, former Bills and Vikings, I don't know what the other teams that he played for, but D tackle Linval Joseph has signed a deal with the Cowboys. Yeah. This is the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th defensive lineman that they've signed already. Like, geez, how many defensive linemen are they going to sell? I mean, golly. Well, anyway, I'm rambling. Linval Joseph signed with the Cowboys, so this is more of a veteran presence who knows the Mike Zimmer system, comfortable with the Mike Zimmer system, who has that, who can show the other players on the defensive line, how to be, how to fit into his system. Nothing, crazy or anything like that. Even when you look at the deal, it's only a 1 year, $4 million deal. He's only getting $2.5 million guaranteed. So all in all, it's really not that big of a deal, not that big of a situation, because I do know that the Cowboys have been trying to beef up their defensive line as best as possible, and Linval Joseph is definitely a good run stuffer. I just wonder, is it is a little bit of a premeditated type of move? I just want to know, honestly, because again, you're filling up. Yes, you're adding players, but are they impactful players? That's the question, because Mozzie Smith really hasn't shown a whole lot since being drafted to the Cowboys. Linval Joseph, really, I mean, he did a few things with the Bills and whatnot, but again, where does he lie on the food chain on that defensive line? Even with Carl Lawson, again, you're getting these players are what exactly, what is the plan actually at this point? And again, this does go back to everything that's going on with the Cowboys. The Cowboys don't even realize, and Cowboys fans, you guys don't even realize how much is riding on this season. Mike McCarthy is looking for an extension. Dak is looking for an extension. CeeDee Lamb's looking for an extension. And Michael Parsons is looking for an extension, right? And, the Cowboys realize that, guess what? They have to pay CeeDee Lamb. There's no way that you can go around this. There's no way you can cut it, slice it, trim it, package up, whatever you want. They have to pay CeeDee Lamb because why? He is literally their best receiver and their only productive receiver on that team. Now, it'll be different if they still had Amari Cooper and, Michael Gallup before the injury. Then it's like, okay, cool, maybe they can, figure something else out. But the fact of the matter is this. If you want to be able to win games, if you want to be able to be competitive, not only in your division, but to be competitive against other teams, you're going to have to sign CeeDee Lamb. You're going to have to write that check, Jerry. You're going to have to, because the offense is CeeDee Lamb. That's just what it is. And he's a superstar. And you have to pay superstars big superstar money. That's just what it boils down to. And, you may hate it or not, but guess what? Your whole identity has been for the Cowboys is superstars. But when it comes down to, getting paid and whatnot, you don't want to pay them superstar money to take a discount. Well, guess what? CeeDee Lamb has definitely been one of the best productive receivers since coming into the league. And he has to be, compensated for that. He just has to. So Come on, Jerry. Take out that old, wrinkly, beat up checkbook that you have in your back pocket, because I know you have one, and write that check for CD Lamb. You might as well get it over with now, because if this thing lingers into the season, you are going to have a big, big, big problem. And I wouldn't be surprised if, behind closed doors, you have people like Dak and others who are vouching for CD Lamb to get paid. Because again, they realize that if CeeDee Lamb is not on that field, the Cowboys offense is not productive. You have an old Zeke and you have Dak Prescott, who literally, I mean, who are the other receivers? No disrespect to them, but again, who is just as productive or even close to being as productive as CeeDee Lamb as far as with the receivers on that team? I'll wait. Nobody? Okay, that's what I thought. Moving forward. Yeah, let's talk about these predictions. Yeah, let's actually do that. Let's do these Bagrodomus predictions for both the corners and the receivers. But let's start with the corners first. So Derek Stingley, Sauce, and PS2 pretty soon will be eligible for, contract extensions and whatnot. So cool, right? But the problem is that their situation sort of mirrors the receiver situation. And I'm going to explain why in just, right now. So when you look at it, right, you have three corners who by themselves can, are going to reset the market. Two of them for sure are going to reset the market. Okay, two of them are. One of them is probably going to, thinks they're gonna. One of them is going to get a deal first, right? It's going to be an easier deal to take care of and whatnot. The other two are going to be the ones that are going to be, hashed out and whatnot and can be drawn out for a longer period of time. Let me explain. So, according to Spot Rack, shout out to who? Spot Rack. Derek Stingley's market value is 3 years, $68.8 million, $22.9 million a year. Sauce Gardner's market value is 3 years, $67.6 million, $22.5 million. And PS2's market value is 3 years, $66.5 million, $22.2 million a year. Now, these are, these are pretty fairly, around the same ballpark, which is pretty cool and whatnot. But I just feel like one of them is going to reset the market. I do. I truly believe that, because you have two. Well, not even. Well, no, I can't disrespect them like that. You have three corners, three premier shut down, lockdown number one corners, right? That are going to be looking for the bag, right? And that's not even mentioning if they have a crazy season. If they have a crazy season where they have, I don't know, 5, 8, or even 10 interceptions and whatnot, and they have like these crazy stats, and they're one of the finalists for the Defensive Player of the Year award, that even ups the ante even more. So again, this is a situation where, if you're the Jets, you have to figure out what you're going to do. If you're the Broncos, it's a little bit more easier to do, because why? You don't have a lot of big contracts that you have to worry about. You have your quarterback that's on a rookie deal. Quinn Miners just got a deal, but that's, it's not earth shattering. Cortland Sutton got, extra guaranteed money added to his contract, which that's not that big of a deal either. So again, that's an easier sell. That's an easier, contract to take care of. Same thing with Derek Stingley. Not Cortland Sutton. What am I thinking about Cortland Sutton? CJ Stroud is on a rookie deal, which is, good. And, everybody else is still in a fairly pretty good situation. The defense isn't that expensive. So, again, that's another deal that can be taken care of, pretty well. So, these are my predictions, okay? Bagrodomus's predictions. You're only going to hear it here at the Football Junkies podcast, okay? So for me personally, I would say Sauce Gardner gets a 3-year, $75 million deal, 3 years, $75 million. He'll be making $25 million a year. Patrick Surtain, 3 years, $73 million, $24.3 million a year. And Derek Stingley, 3 years, $72 million, $23.6 million a year. Now, when we look at it, I do feel like Sauce is somewhat of the Justin Jefferson, type of situation when it comes to corners, right? That once it's time for him to get paid, he's going to reset the market. Same thing for PS2. PS2 in some ways is like the CeeDee Lamb for corners, right? He may not reset the market, but they'll probably get him as close as they possibly can to what Sauce had. Probably. Derek Stingley, on the other hand, I don't know exactly how that situation is just going to pan out. I don't. I wouldn't be surprised if they probably pick up his 5th-year option. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they did it for any of these players. I just don't. But the problem is, I think the Jets and Sauce. I think that's going to be a longer drawn out situation because they've put so much money behind Aaron Rodgers, even though that's a failed experiment, that they're trying to see exactly how this thing is going to pan out. And then not to mention, there's a good chance that they're going to be looking for a new head coach as well. So there's a lot of things riding on if Sauce stays or if he goes, honestly. But as far as PS2 and Derek Stingley, I think those deals are going to be done fairly quickly. I really do believe that. But again, I could be wrong. You know, how can I say this? It's just difficult. It's difficult. It really is difficult because you have three premier players who are going to be looking for over 25 million a year, and the question is, are these teams going to be willing to do it? Really, like that's just the question. And we have seen recently that a lot of teams nowadays, especially GMs, are being that are fighting tooth and nail when it comes to these deals. Case in point, that's why you see a lot of players who they're not reporting to training camp, who are not interacting with the team, who are being silent and sending cryptic messages because it's like, bro, I am the best of the best on my team. I have to be fairly compensated. And teams are like, well, we want to compensate you, but at the same time, your version of compensation isn't what we want or what we have envisioned or dreamed of. So again, it's a lot of things, a lot of situations, but I do believe all three of them will get paid respectfully. So there's that. Now, on to the breaking news, folks. Okay, Jahan Dotson, former Commanders receiver, has gotten traded to the Eagles. Okay, yes, fly Eagles, fly. Whatever you guys say, blah blah blah. Don't care. Okay, so the Eagles get Jahan Dotson in a 2025 5th-round pick, and the Commanders get a 3rd-round pick for 2025 and 2 7th-round picks for next year's draft. Now, this is a lot to take. When we look at this is a situation where the Eagles are continuing to beef up that offense even more, right? They've had a lot of offensive additions. When you really look at it in this offseason, they got Saquon, they paid him money. Now they got Jahan Dotson. You still got AJ Brown, who they paid more money to, and they paid money to Devontae Smith as well. So all in all, this is a very potent offense. That is the best offense in that division. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what any analyst says. That is the best offense in that division. They are trying to go and win another Super Bowl. Now, do I think they could probably do it? I don't know. I just don't know. Only time will tell. I mean, we've seen Howie make crazy moves during the season for veteran players, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't work, but who knows? I mean, this Eagles offense this is some problems. This is a problem. I can't even find the words to say it. This is a problem. But the thing about it is that people are not talking about this opens a hole up for the Commanders because now guess what? They now have a hole at wide receiver number 2. There's still another receiver that's looking to get traded, that's looking to get paid. Brandon Ayuk is going to go to the Commanders. I've heard it from, I'm not going to name who my sources are, but I've heard from a source that there is a good chance that Brandon Ayuk is going to go to the Commanders. And I'm not surprised that it happens because you still have that 49ers connection. The GM, was once in the front office with the 49ers. The Commanders have a little bit more leeway in paying for someone like a Brandon Ayuk, and I feel like he would probably fit their offense a little bit better compared to Jahan Dotson because lately you've been hearing a lot of rumblings that Jahan Dotson just didn't fit with the idea of the team, and there was a little bit of like attitude issues, if I'm not mistaken. So all in all, this is a very interesting move because they're moving him to a divisional rival. So again, you're going to see him twice. So all in all, it makes you wonder exactly what is the Commanders doing, because you're not about to make this move if you're not about to make something somewhat of a bigger move. You're just not. I'm sorry. I don't care what anyone says. They're going to go after Brandon Ayuk. They're going to give them the money that he wants, and I feel like they'll probably finesse the 49ers, just because, one, this situation has drawn out for too long. It's basically drawn out the entire offseason. The season is getting ready to start, and the 49ers are trying to prioritize paying Trent Williams the money that he wants. And if I'm a GM, if I'm John Lynch, I value Trent Williams more than Brandon Ayuk. I'm just being honest here. It is easier to find a Brandon Ayuk in the draft than it is to find a Trent Williams. Okay? It is hard, and I'm going to say that again. It is harder to find a Trent Williams in the draft or in free agency or via trade than it is a Brandon Ayuk. No disrespect to neither one of them, but that is the truth. That is the mindset. I think the 49ers just want to be done with this situation. It has drawn out for too long. They feel like they have basically exhausted every option possible, and in their eyes, they probably feel like it's still not good enough, right? Because there was a moment where they were fielding calls. Okay, cool. Then there was some friction, and then there was some rumors that that there was going to be a deal that was going to happen immediately, and then it stopped, and then they came back to the table. Then they had a heart to heart, and then they would be buddy and whatnot. So it's basically been like a drama series. This is the football version of Days of Our Lives. This is exactly what it is. And it's drawn out for too long. People are tired of talking about it. People are tired of speculating and, oh, I've heard from this person and that person, and I heard about the person that was folding up clothes. I overheard a conversation from the person who's best friends with John Lynch that said that Brandon Ayuk was going to get traded to this team on 2:00 on Tuesday and whatnot. Everybody's tired of the foolishness. Okay. The 49ers want to get quiet because they're trying to focus to try to win a Super Bowl. That's all what it is. That's just what it boils down to. And I'm not surprised that the Commanders made this move, because again, Jahan Dotson was, back to that situation, was on the outside looking in from a roster standpoint. And they probably realized, well then, hey, why don't we just, try to get some compensation from him and just move off, from there, right? Because when you look at it, the Commanders are going in a different direction, right? They're trying to change and whatnot. And they probably felt like, Jahan Dotson just hasn't really shown a whole lot since they drafted him, and that it's just time they go their separate ways. And then not to mention, cut down day is next week. So you're going to hear about more trades, happening. Not to mention the Commanders traded for a kicker today. They traded for Cade York. And then the Panthers, they just traded away. I think they traded for Michael Jackson. I'm not talking about the Michael Jackson they used to do the moonwalk. No, I'm talking about cornerback Michael Jackson. Okay. The Panthers traded for Michael Jackson, and the Seahawks get Michael Barrett. Okay, see, that's the breaking news, right? Yeah, I don't know, something. This is another prediction. Okay, this is another Bagrodomus prediction. Brandon Ayuk is going to get traded before next Wednesday. That is my prediction. I think they are just done with it. I think they want to move forward. I think they just want to be done with this completely. And I think the Commanders now is somewhat of a better spot and a better situation. Not to mention he also has chemistry with Jaden Daniels as well. Is there anything else I need to talk about with that situation? No? Yes? No? Maybe so? Okay, no. Cool. Now, on to the second to last thing that we need to talk about, okay? I know this is a long drawn out episode, but if to the people that are bearing with me, I appreciate you and I love you so much from the bottom of my heart. Now, we finally have, a quote from Brian Flores on the things that have happened with Tua. So let's just go into it and then we'll talk about everything else. Okay. Well, actually, you know what? No, let's not. For the people that didn't listen to this episode, Tua basically has come out and basically talked about his relationship with former Miami's head coach Brian Flores, and basically how he was demoralized and basically told like he wasn't going to be anything and that you're horrible and this that and the other, and basically how with them firing him and then getting Mike McDaniels, how he's basically been reinforced with positivity and all those different types of things. And this is what I'll say after really thinking about it, because I feel like I definitely went in on Brian Flores. Brian Flores, is definitely a good coach, but I do feel like it's going to be a harder climb for him to be viewed as a potential head coach because of this situation, because of how this situation was handled the way that it was, right? Because remember, I don't think people realize this. There was a time and point where there was a lot of speculation of the Dolphins probably trying to get I can't even speak. The Dolphins were thinking about trying to go after who was it? Tom Brady. There was rumors that they were going to try to get Deshaun Watson as well. So they were in their mind, they were done with Tua before they could really evaluate Tua. And so that definitely probably took a toll on them, especially when, every time you turn on the news, well, I'm hearing from insiders that, the Dolphins may be interested in going after Tom Brady and that whole debacle. And that's why they lost their first round pick that year, because of all of the things that conspired and happened during that entire tenure. So when you have that, especially as a young quarterback coming into the league, that definitely takes a toll on you. And then not to mention the text messages when you say, don't F this up or whatever, like to your quarterback. Come on, man. Come on. There is a fine line between hard coaching and, just doing the most right now. And, Ryan Clark and and company said it yesterday on Get Up on ESPN. Shout out to them and whatnot. Hard coaching basically is I'm pushing you because there's something inside of you that I know that is there that I'm trying to bring out for the best version of you, right? Case in point, Nick Saban. Nick Saban has always had a reputation of coaching hard. And it shows because why? A lot of the players that he has hard coached, guess what? They have become all pro Hall of Fame players who have gotten, big time paydays, right? And, that is what you see in hard coaching. You're talking about somebody who is very detail oriented, who is, at that time, the emotions may come out and you may not feel the best. But guess what? He's doing that because why? He's showing you that, listen, things, if you can't do the small things here, what makes you think you'll be able to do things once you get to the big leagues? Because in the big leagues, there's not as many chances for excuses, because they'll ship your ass somewhere and not think twice about it, right? And, that's hard coaching. But this right here in this situation, this is not hard coaching. This is not. This is demoralizing somebody and basically just breaking them down. And granted, I understand people make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody, mishandles certain situations. I get all of that. But there's just certain things you just don't do. There's not. And it doesn't help that you are a black man. So you're already going to be put in a situation where people are not going to give you that look that you think that you feel like you deserve. No matter what the situation is, no matter what your credentials say, no matter who you coached and made them better and whatnot. They're not. It's gonna be a climb for him to get another head coaching job because of that entire situation. It is. It's hard. It's hard. It's gonna be hard for him. And that's probably why the best situation for him to go was to the Vikings, because why? You're learning from somebody in Kevin O'Connell who comes from the Sean McVay tree, who they are reinforcing you. They're trying to show you like, hey, this is how you do this, this, and this. We're trying to encourage the player and show them how to be better, not beat them down. Because let's be honest here, folks. That Bill Belichick coaching is dead. It's dead. It's in the ground. Nobody likes that anymore. No player likes that anymore. That's why you've seen Josh McDaniels not get another job. Matt Patricia not get another head coaching job and whatnot. The other dude that was with the Giants. That's why you saw them not getting any more chances, because why? They thought that they were Bill, and I said this in the other episode. They thought that they were Bill, and they thought that they could coach players the same way that Bill coached players, and it doesn't work like that. Tom Brady is an outlier. Tom Brady is a player who was obsessed about winning, and he knew that, listen, I'm probably going to get my ass chewed in front of the whole team for every small little thing that I didn't do. I'm probably going to get ridiculed and talked about in practice, after games, even when we win the Super Bowl. But guess what? I don't care. I want to win, right? Not everybody has that same mindset. I'm not saying that Tua doesn't. But what works for one person you shouldn't take that and then try to fix it and tweak it in your own way and think that you can do it with other players. Because now you're in a situation where now basically that relationship has basically been broken. And somebody asked Brian Flores, do you feel like you and Tua could probably talk and hash things out? And he's probably like, I really don't know. We're both two busy people and whatnot. The whole, generic, we're busy people, all that different type of stuff, bull crap. But I do feel like, it's back to everything that I'm saying. It's going to be hard for Brian Flores to get another head coaching job. It is. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. But, when you have a situation like this and, a lot of those things that happen behind closed doors, they come out to the public, this is what happens, right? So let's get into his comments, right? So this is what he says according to ESPN. And I quote, I'm genuinely happy for the success that Tua has had, Flores has said. And I really wish him nothing but the best. I think part of coaching is correcting. I'm always going to correct. I'm always going to have a high standard. And I think, look, I've done a lot of reflecting on this situation, reflecting on the situation and communication. What in the world's going on? I think there's things that I could do better for sure. And I've grown in that way. And I've tried to apply the things that I could do better in the things that I've learned over the last 2-3 years. Look, I'm human, right? So that hit me in a way that wasn't positive for me. But at the same time, I've got to use that and say, hey, how can I grow from that? How can I be better? And that's really where I'm at from that standpoint. Do I feel like that's me? No. But how can I grow from that situation and create a world where that's not the case, that anyone says that about Brian Flores? Now, that is a whole lot to say here, but at the end, granted, he does have a point. He is human. We all make mistakes, and all those different types of things. But there's just like certain no-nos that you just don't do, right? And granted, he's a good coach. He is. He's a really good coach. But again, I think that whole situation definitely tarnished whatever credibility and reputation that he had. And now it's going to be 10 to 20 times harder for him to get a head coaching job, because why? You mishandled the Tua situation, right? And that's probably why the Dolphins made the pivot that they did and realized, listen, we have to make a move. We have to do something different at this point. But again, I could be wrong, and hopefully I am wrong, but looking at this situation and various insiders detailing things that happened and whatnot, even from a few years ago when Brian Flores was the head coach, and even now when he's not the head coach for the Miami Dolphins, a lot of people are saying the same thing. It was a nasty situation. A lot of people definitely got hurt from it, and all in all, I think it affected his credibility. So there's that. Now, on to a game that is supposed to be coming on Saturday at 1 o'clock. Okay, to the people that may be listening to this with your headphones on or maybe even in your car, you might want to turn it down just a little bit because why? You're probably asking. Because the sixth time, sixth time, sixth time, sixth time, sixth time Pittsburgh Steelers play this Saturday, 1 o'clock against the Lions. Now, granted, it's a preseason game. I get it. I get all those different type of things, okay? But this is what I will say. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I want to see. I want to see the offense be more consistent, right? I want to see them, actually, go down, march down the field. I do. I want them. I want the run game to look a little bit more consistent. I want the pass protection and the run protection to be a little bit more consistent as well. All in all, I want the offense to not be sloppy. I think that's what I'm trying to get at. The offense should not be this sloppy in the last preseason game. It should be better because, again, you want to try to have a little bit momentum leading into the first week of the season, especially with you going up against the Falcons. You want to have some momentum, right? And even if you just score 2 touchdowns or maybe just 1 touchdown, right? If it's a really good, if it's a really good drive, okay, cool. Who's really complaining about, right? And, I want to see more of Russell Wilson. I want to see, I just want to see does he look good? That I think that's the main thing that I really want to see. Is is all still there? Is his read still there? Is he able to to use a little bit of his athleticism? All those different types of things. Now, my whole question is this: will Mike Tomlin break it up in a way to where Russ gets one half and then Justin Fields get the other, or what exactly is going to happen? Because again, a lot of people don't understand this, but a lot is riding on this season for the Steelers. Because why? You have Russell Wilson, who's on a vet minimum deal, and you have Justin Fields, who they declined his 5th-year option to. So whoever does well in this preseason and then becomes the starter for the Steelers, and then overall just plays within the season, they're probably going to be the one that's going to get an extension, most likely, right? And if I'm Russ, I probably want to take this serious because this could probably be my last, big payday, right? And if I'm Justin Fields, I want to take this even more serious because why? This could make or break my career. This could mean either I get 30 or 40 or 45 or 55 million a year, or I am basically going to be, a journeyman going from place to place. That's what it is, right? So I just want to see. I just want to see more cohesion. I want to see more consistency. I want to see more cleanup. I don't want to see a bunch of sloppy play and whatnot. Now the false starts and the offsides and all those different types of things. I don't want to see that. I want special teams to look better as well. I get it. I get it. It's a new rule. Everyone's trying to get used to it. All those different types of things. But again, we need to see something, right? You want to have some momentum on all 3 levels of play leading into the season because you're going to need it. You're not going up against a team that's fighting to get, a high pick in the draft. You're going up against a team right now that could possibly win their division and probably sneak into the playoffs. That's who you're going up against, right? And so you have to take that serious. You want to have a little bit of momentum with you. I understand I keep on saying it, but in my opinion, if you're a team like this team who has had a lot of, change in this offseason, you want to have something to carry you into the first season. Into the first week of the season. That's what you want. Instead of, trying to build yourself up and hype yourself up to get ready for the first week. I definitely want to see Broderick take more reps at left tackle. I definitely want to see Zach Frazier, do more. Mason McCormick, I definitely want to see, more of him as well. And probably the receivers. I do. I think the receivers as well. I definitely want to see, what other than, George Pickens and Van Jefferson. I want to see what Calvin Austin, can do, what Scotty Miller can do, Quez Watkins and company. So definitely want to see that. As far as for the defense is the defense. I definitely want to see more consistency with the corners, especially the slot corner. And, I understand that, Cam Sutton is going to be suspended for 8 games, but, if you're the Steelers, you do probably need to go, and you probably do need to pick up somebody else at this point. I think you do. You can't just bank on, okay, Cam Sutton, after 8 games, everything is going to be fine and dandy. No, you have to get somebody that can, patch in the job and do the best that they can do, and, help Benny Bishop in this situation. That's what you need. You can't just bank on, oh, Benny will do it, or this person will do it, or that person will do it. No, you got to bring somebody else. There are adequate, options available in free agency that you can get that is not going to cost you a whole lot of money. If you need some people, you know where to find me, Omar. You know where to find me. And as far as for the Lions, I just want to see. What do I really want to see? Their defense. I do. I want to see, where that secondary lies. I do, because they lost Cam Sutton for, obvious reasons. Not going to get into it. They lost Kirby Joseph. I just want to see, what Terrion Arnold looks like against, other receivers. Someone like a George Pickens. What else? Their pass rushers. Definitely want to see their pass rushers, because I've heard a lot of good things about them as well. The offense is the offense. I'm not really worried about them, because I know the offense is definitely, they're up there. They're up there. They're definitely up there. I'm probably going to be watching as many games as I possibly can. But I'm probably going to take down some notes, and then we'll talk about it in the next episode. But I'm going to end it here because, oh my God, 51 minutes. Whew, good God, this is going to be an episode. Wow. As always, I'm just gonna end it here. Yeah, we're gonna end it here. So, as always, I hope I gave you guys the fix that you guys need. Please, like, share, subscribe, whatever you do something with this episode and with the Football Junkies podcast, okay? Because guess what? You tell one more person to tell another person, to tell another person, to tell another person, to tell another person, to tell them all to become Football Junkies, so that guess what? We can all join in the Football Junkies army, and we can be bigger, better, and stronger, okay? Now, for my YouTube people, like, share, subscribe, turn that notification bell on, leave a comment down below, okay? Cool. Now, for the Instagram people, I need you to like, I need you to share this, I need you to leave a comment with it. And for the TikTok people, I don't know. Do something with it. What else? I know I'm forgetting something. Oh, yes. I remember. Thank you. You can follow us on Instagram at football_junkiespod. Again, that is football_junkiespod. Junkiespod is not what? It is not spaced. It is put together. You can follow us on YouTube at football_junkiespod. You can follow us on TikTok at football_junkiespod. And for my audio listeners, right? We're available on Apple Podcasts, RSS feed, Spotify, and anywhere else that you can get your daily Football Junkies fix, okay? And as always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. We are not that far away from 30 episodes, and I am so excited for it. I'm so appreciative of it. If you would have told me that we would have gotten to 30 episodes, I would have called you a liar. As always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Stay tuned. There might be another episode. Who knows? I feel like we're going to get a triple upload this week. We haven't had one in a while, but hey, this might be the week that we get these next 2 weeks. Who knows? Stay tuned. Peace and love. I'm out.